This video changed cardistry. It might seem silly to think that a single video impacted an entire art form, but the fact is, cardistry is still relatively new compared to other art forms. And when legendary cardist Dimitri Arleri created Silent Transition back in 2012, cardistry was in its very early phases. The smaller size of the community at the time allowed for videos that pushed boundaries to have a much larger influence. With Dimitri being so ahead of his time, the impact of Silent Transition rippled across the entire community and changed the way cardists create. But how exactly did a single video create such a large impact? To get an idea of why the video was so groundbreaking, let's imagine what things were like at the time. Cardists were few and far between, and the variety of cardistry moves were limited. There was still so much to be discovered, and anything and everything within the physical limitations of a deck was on the table. At the time, there was sort of a meta that cardists were often staying within the bounds of, somewhat limiting their creativity. Cardistry was in the midst of breaking away from the flashy, theatrical style of XCM, otherwise known as extreme card manipulation. This steered the meta toward neat packet cuts driven largely by Danish cardists such as Tobias Levin, Oliver Sogard, and Nikolai Petersen. Back then, Dimitri was one of the few really pushing the boundaries and combining the impressiveness of XCM with the style of modern cuts. In doing so, he inspired cardists to explore other genres and stop limiting themselves creatively. One example that comes to mind is structures, which were a very underutilized type of cardistry at that point. Dimitri took it to another level by making the construction of the shapes nearly as interesting as the shapes themselves. Think of a house of cards. You wouldn't want to sit there and watch somebody build one, but you might be interested in seeing the final product when there are layers of cards precisely stacked on one another. In Dimitri's case, he built what you could describe as an apartment complex, all while holding the cards in his hands and allowing for each layer of the structure to smoothly protrude from the one below it. That move, along with others in the video, are sort of a blend between eras, given they combine the impressive elements of XCM with the elegant and stylistic elements we see in modern cardistry. A lot of the moves in Silent Transition are also noticeably unique from the XCM era, and as a result, Dimitri was helping build the new era of cardistry that we're in today. Something unique with the current scene is that cardists have a wide variety of categories to choose from when learning and creating. However, it seems most cardists will find just a few that are intriguing to them and stick to those. That was another thing that made Silent Transition different. Dimitri was so versatile that he showcased several types of cardistry in a single video of his own creations, all while many of these categories were still very underdeveloped. One of those genres was spreads and fans. He showcased multiple in this video, and there's one in particular that stood the test of time, the riffle fan. It's a move that most cardists have in their arsenal, and there are loads of popular tutorials for it online where anyone interested can learn. Not only did Dimitri explore a vast number of different cardistry genres, but he found a way to combine multiple into a single move. Here he combined a spread with a toss and caught a card in the spread that was being held by his forearm. Still a wild feat to this day. It also goes back to the earlier point about combining elements of XCM with modern cardistry. Having three genres show up in one move is incredibly difficult, and he manages to make it look elegant throughout the performance. One of the other factors that adds a modern touch to this otherwise XCM heavy move is that he has a closer. A lot of XCM moves didn't really have much of a purpose beyond a wow moment. Dimitri, on the other hand, starts and ends most of his moves in dealer's grip, allowing them to feel more complete. If you'd ever like to create your own moves, which I would highly encourage by the way, combining different categories can be a good approach to finding something unique. Looking at most two-handed cuts today, they usually don't go beyond adding and removing packets, but when somebody does a fan in the middle of the cut or launches a card in the air to catch it at a different point in the move, it adds something special. If you learn the basics of most categories before trying to create your own moves, you'll find that there are seemingly infinite possibilities with the deck. Now I know I said this video changed cardistry, not just the moves within it, Beyond the incredible ideas shared, there's so much more that makes this video special. It's a beautiful culmination of other art forms outside of cardistry, such as cinematography, music, and editing. The yellow-orange tint in the video provided by the lighting and color grading, along with the nighttime filming, pairs beautifully with the incredible music, which on its own elevates the video to the next level. The mix of electrical and classical instruments results in this eerie yet powerful ballad that matches perfectly with the video's twilight setting. This entire atmosphere was created by a very experienced videographer named Francois Dubois, and it's clear that he knows how to create cinematic shots that help isolate the moves. He often uses multiple angles to showcase cuts from different points of view while maintaining the continuity of the move. He even adds filler shots of Dimitri's face or objects in the room to keep the pacing of the video just right. There's a true feeling that you're in the room with him, and that everything displayed in the video has a strong connection to Dimitri himself. If you haven't already seen the video, I'd highly recommend giving it a watch, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's linked in the description below. A little side note about it, you might notice that the raw video quality is a little worse than you'd expect, given how high quality the lighting, colors, music, and overall cinematography are. This is because the video was re-uploaded by a different user. It's still unclear why the original video was deleted, but I think I can speak for the entire cardistry community when I say it's very appreciated that the video can still be watched to this day. Dimitri is truly one of the pioneers of cardistry, and it's been inspiring to see and feel the impacts that he's had on the community over the years. I'm hopeful that we'll see more people like him pushing the art form as far as it can go, but that's not possible without your help. Yes, cardistry is still very niche in the grand scheme of things, so if this is something that interests you, I'd encourage you to keep learning, practicing, creating, and just having fun with it. We've got plenty of tutorials and other educational content on our page. Also, be sure to tap the subscribe button and hit the bell for video notifications so we can continue to bring you more cardistry content like this. Now keep shuffling, and I'll see you next time.